We're gonna start. Fire it up a little bit. See if anybody comes around. A little cleaned up, you know. Constantly changing, constantly evolving, yada yada yada, rah rah rah. Some new things, trying some stuff out. It's kind of what I do. Feedback loop. Just trying some stuff out. I'm gonna go grab me some headphones real quick so that way I can not go absolutely insane, because that would happen. Music is life. I gotta remember that you can't hear my music. I gotta actually talk to you. Got a couple minutes. I'm not doing. I want that over there. Let's actually do this. Do a little tonal bop. I think I can talk over that. Yeah, I can talk over that. Little background tunes. Anybody who might show up, they're probably coming from Facebook, Instagram. Welcome. Probably already know. This is kind of what we're working on. I've kind of made up a pattern here. I followed vaguely the idea of the Tandy leather. They have a pattern for this. I'm too fucking cheap to buy the pattern, so I made my own. There's some hopefully exciting surprises involved with this, but we'll get to that. We've got the main body cut out here. I used a big piece of, I used a whole side of leather for source leather. Gonna just kind of clean some of this up. Sorry, we're not in the right mindset. See if that works. And for tunes, I'm just listening to Spotify, a made for you list. Right now I'm using the previously made body as a pattern to cut to make the same pieces. I probably should be using an X-Acto knife. Be a little sharper, probably a little cleaner. And please excuse if I suddenly break out into song, because I'm listening to very different music than you are. And also excuse the fact that I use the fuck word as a comma. Get a rough cut of the pattern I made. And then match the two patterns together. And no, I don't know what I'm doing. I got the basic concept behind it down. Again, making some shit up. Seems fairly main body-ish. Need to take out my trash can. What's next? Should do. I I know based on my pattern I need 24 inches. Inches is too long, but cut it long, trim it down. And this, so the body is made out of a piece of, I used a side of 2-3 from Weaver leather. This is a 3-inch wide, 50-inch long, basically strap. I shouldn't have cut that because that's way too thick for a gusset. Hopefully I need something 24 inches long. We're gonna move to the floor. This is what I'm talking about. This is 2 to 3 ounce. It's very good quality. Scrabble on. Got my little scratch mark there. You probably won't be able to see it. Here I'm just setting my cutter. I know the numbers are pretty on point. Pre-cut son of a bitch. Should make it a bit easier. So this controls the thickness of the leather through, and this controls the depth of cut. Don't cut those, dummy. Again, overcut. Just squaring it up from the strap cutter. Maybe I'll use my strap cutter. I might get pissed off enough here in a second. Thin leather and all. Again, welcome to the shit show. Work with sides of leather, they said. It'll be great. It'll save so much money. You came here for... No, you didn't come here. You might have accidentally shown up, but you didn't come here on purpose. Go! You showed up accidentally for the leathercraft content. What you got is man versus stupid wooden tool. more of a pain in the dick than I thought it would be. Some good leather. Might be the cheap imported stuff from Weaver. Weaver puts out some good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Weaver Leathercraft. How am I going to do this? My rule of thumb, when you're stitching, give your prong width away from the edge. For your wing divider. That's your, I'm making my stitch line now. The actual line that I'm going to follow when I use my pricking iron, which is this. I'm going to follow the line that I'm scoring into the leather with my pricking iron to give me a consistent distance. I think I might. I'm gonna just end it right there and leave this little, no. I know it's going to be dead space because this is going to end up being a purse. That's going to be dead space, but I'm going to stitch it anyway. I'm just going to pancake these two together. Use the specialist of tools, Harbor Freight now, and it comes through. Use last pin, last hole, first pin, in a consistent space. Check on the back side. First pin, last hole. Check. Too many switch to a smaller. Again, last pin, first hole, straight up and down. Right on that corner. Use this as a measurement. Last pin, first hole. Nix that and reverse it. First pin, last hole. I'm going to cheat because there's not enough space between this pin and that hole. So I'm going to use my little one. Check that they all came through. When I do that, I'm just pressing in a little bit. So I get just the tiniest little indentation. Pokes all the way through. First tine, last hole. Pokes all the way through. Too many. First, all the way through. Switch again. Give me a little indentation, just so it doesn't take so long. All the way through. Poke. Check. Poke. Cover some distance. Poke. Cover a little bit more distance. I thank you for the suggestion. Somebody's trying to get me to go to a different website to get viewers or something or another, so I'm just going to ignore that. Let's still square it up. Looking in, I can see through you. Copyright strike. I figure this little bit of dead space isn't the end of the world, because it's a purse for a 7-year-old. If I was making this for a customer, I'd probably do it a little bit different. But I'm not, so I won't. Now I got consistent stitch holes on both sides. Now the question is, I'm just squaring this up. I cut it at an angle, apparently. I'm not a professional, so 1, don't judge my decisions. 2, please excuse when my dome gets in the way. We'll just call it 2-ish inches. I think it's about time to dye. Then we'll gravity dye this, and then we can get the holes punched and we can touch up. Yeah, I like that idea. If you decide to do this yourself, gloves. Always gloves. Why? Leather is the de-haired skin of a cow. You have skin. It's untanned. But it's still skin. What am I going to do? I'm going to do... I got a lot of mahogany. I'm going to do some mahogany. So yeah, always gloves. You will turn that color until the end of forever. Or you wash your hands enough. Don't hold that over. I just don't want to fuck with it, so I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use a rag. Some people, like my wife, really don't like the smell of this. I so happen to really enjoy the smell of it. I do have an okay amount of cross breeze, but you probably shouldn't be breathing this in all that much. And I'll come back to it and do edges and whatnot. I wish I had a better rag or a sponge or something, so that way it wouldn't get as streaky. So I could keep more of the red. But to cover up the streaks, I go a little bit heavier. Ends up being almost a dark brown. Might have guessed right on the amount of dye. dry out a little bit. Really gotta empty that. I'd talk with you, but there's nobody here to talk with, so. I like it, I like it, I like it. I'm just going to transfer my holes so I know where I'm sewing. This part I'm just making. Just gonna cut a little relief. So that way I can go around the corner. And the holes do come through the backside. I'll go and I'll edge dye and all that good golly horse shit. Got a couple good holes. I don't know if you can pick them up, but I can. Let's do some color selection. We're going to do purple. I know that mahogany leather dye and purple thread don't usually go together. But this purse is for a 7-year-old. And no, that's not an exaggeration. It's literally for a 7-year-old. Looking for this, my stitching pony. Just gets clamped onto the table. I took the cheapest stitching pony I could find. think that was an Amazon special. I just glued some contact cemented barge for the win. Some leather on the jaws just to give it a little bit more clamping force. I'm going to stitch these in single runs. And to measure thread, measure the distance you're sewing plus 4 times plus half. It's my rule of thumb. Thread is cheap. I hope you love the sight of the top of my head. Now, just poke myself with a rather sharp knife. You'll notice I have like all of the different knives, box cutters, because I stand by, if you lose something once, you'll lose it again. Either get them cheap the first time, buy good the second time, or in this case, get one. If you lose them, get as many as you can. I'm going to do a fairly simple saddle stitch. Hammer it flat and snip it off like I did, just to make it easy to thread said needle. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Riveting content here, guys. Threading needles. Absolutely riveting. For saddle stitch. Or else it's cheap. Put your needles together. Tails similar length. Even out your threads. And even out your threads. In one side. Just going to widen out these holes a little bit with my scratch awl. So I can get both sets, both needles through. Probably should have done this beforehand, but here we are. Again, welcome to the shit show. Poke a couple. Okay, thread is evened. Go through with one needle, come back to the same hole, cross them. One through. Lock it down. Rinse. Wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. Just oblong that hole just a hair and repeat. Don't pull too tight, because if you pull too tight on this thin leather like this, you'll ripple it. Me. You can't see a damn thing I'm doing. Sorry. So, I evened out the threads, put one through, pull them tight, even them out. Go in one side, go in the other. Cross them up. That'll happen on these big jobs. Sometimes you have to rethread the needle. Never do math on live TV, kids. Okay, we start. Got your even threads in one side, and the other, cross, and pull them through. A little bit of tension. If you do too much tension, your leather, because of thin leather, it'll ripple, and that's obviously not a good thing, so let's try to prevent that as much as possible. I do have a heavy-duty enough Singer sewing machine that I could probably sew both of these, but I'm kind of committed at this point. I like this purple thread. On my Singer, all I have is black. Sometimes I punch the back holes. This side is the back side, the gusset side. Sometimes I don't. But I found that if I walk through the gusset side with my scratch awl, it makes it much easier to sew. Thread on your needles is adjust as needed. Needles out of the way. A few more stitches. Now, since I have plenty of extra, I'm going to backstitch. I'm only going through one layer of the leather on each side. I'll go over here. So that way it doesn't show my stitch termination. Needles there. Tie myself a knot. And a lot of people go for the thread nippers. Box cutter's your friend. Set it there. We use, in leather, we use that much of the blade. That much of the blade. Just trying to work through this. All of this is stupid sharp. So I'm going to set that part and work the thread over the blade, not the blade over the thread, so I don't cut anything leather-wise. Now I'm going to get my really fancy tack hammer here. Tapping down the thread here. So that way, nice and flush, fills the holes. You don't need a really fancy tack hammer. I just happen to have a really fancy tack hammer for other projects that we'll cover in future videos. I'm just using a stitching pony now to hold it in place so I can pre-widen my gusset holes. Because I pre-punched them using the stitching holes on the body with my scratch awl. Now I'm just going to go back and re-punch them, widen them out a little. Obviously, because it's face to the camera, or back to the camera, face to me, you can't see shit. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go ask my old lady something. Yes, she knows I call her my old lady. It's a term of endearment. I'll be right back. Good stuff. I'm trying to at least be mildly engaging. I'm back. La-ti-da. So I was asking my old lady if I should finish the inside, because obviously you got the flesh side, which is real smooth, and then you got the back side, which is real rough. I was just wondering, for my 7-year-old, what she thought would be the best option. Again, 4.5. A lot of people say 4. I like to do 4.5 because then I get plenty of extra for not tying, and I'm not fighting against the thread. And now that I've got you more in frame, and get this together. start at my last, no. Most people, when they're sewing, they don't want breaks. I'm going to do a little bit of a break here in case something liquid gets dumped into this because, 7-year-old. Right now I'm just matching up my 2 threads. Pinch here, even it out. One through the other. Crossing. Double tap for security. Sorry, controlled pairs. If you know, you know. Pop, pop. It's the problem with not doing a needle lock. I don't like doing them. They never work for me. It's where you take this tail, make it real long, poke the needle through the thread twice, and then pull it tight. It uses a lot of extra thread. It never works for me, so I just leave the tails and rethread the needle if need be. A lot of people end up doing a saddle stitch. It's a very secure stitch. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do a double running stitch where I just needle back and forth and then back to the beginning. You do run the risk of sewing. Stay there. Other thread. Either that or my house is haunted. I hope not, because my old lady would be pissed. Anyway, you end up quite a few times sewing through the thread that's already in the stitch hole, and it could be a lock, like a lock stitch, but it could also weaken the thread. Argument could be made either way. I got no dog in that fight. Something like this. I'm going to do a saddle stitch because I know it's secure. I know it's strong. Not that the double running stitch isn't strong, but I know this one's strong. Had to pause to check my stream, because it's half the reason I'm doing this. Just gotta mentally remind myself to do that. See, anybody who watches this is going to see quite a bit of it, because y'all don't know this, but I have 3 girls, so I'm going to have to make 3 of these. So you're gonna ride along. Again, singular back stitch halfway through. And this right here is the reason I go 4.5. This 4 would give me enough, but you'd be looking at like that much thread. And I don't know about you, I've got construction hands. I can't tie a knot in 1 inch of thread. Again, use the stupidly sharp part of the blade, work the thread back and forth. Stay there. Don't actually stay there. Aha! Aha! Because I have a hopeless addiction. That one. Scientific. Science. Yes, I'm weird. rinse and repeat. Surprise. Except I poked. Didn't poke that hole. I really like to not be stabbed in the fucking finger. Basically a third hand. Anybody who sees this, if you like the lo-fi beats, comment. If you'd rather me find hey, there we go. Wouldn't you know it? More rinse and repeat. Again, evening out my threads. And it's, I'm guessing, not a great angle because of all of this. But sometimes workmanship must trump showbiz. I know a lot of people would disagree, but that's showbiz, baby. There we go. I really would love to have a project or two that create rivets. I love riveting. Hand stitching. Kind of a pain in the dick. Sure, that's not super recommended for YouTube commentary. This is why you don't do math on live TV. Let's see if I can plug you in, see if that maintains the battery. Save me, save me. I think the same thing, but it's all good and I can go down. And the party's all over. Copyright struck. I'm going to terminate my stitch here. Do I need to? No. Will it make it more convenient for me? Absolutely. So yet again, a little bit of back stitch. My old lady said she was cold. I don't get it. I swear, women are cold-blooded, like lizards. I am sweating my ass off right now. I love the way you lay wanna hold you high and still. Oh, pain. Should have done 3 more. Making some shit up. Letter. Go away. Now we're back to the pricking irons. First time, last hole. Whack! Check them. First time, last hole. I don't know how this is going to work. Ooh. Everybody needs a bigger workshop. I'd love to have that over there as my whacking area. And that over there is my cutting area. This over there is my whacking area. And this over here is my sewing area. And then over there, that's a toy in and of itself. I'm just responding to a chat. But over there, you haven't seen that yet. That's a toy that we might play with a little bit here in the future. If need calls for it. I'm not here to force content. If I can come up with something, I'll share it with you. If I can't come up with something, we will get it. And this one I'm gonna make seam. Actually, here. What I've been doing in the corners, I've been leaving an empty stitch just for ease on my part, because I want this to seem like a consistent stitch I'm actually going to basically half a back stitch, I guess you could call it, where I just go into the previous hole. It'd help if I use the right end of the needle. Let's go home, get stoned, 'cause then I'm making love instead of misery. Go home and get stoned. Copyright struck. Yes. Dad rock for the win. Because I have been hit in the head too many times to only sit here and listen to lo-fi. Can't do it. I'm just adjusting my stitching pony for the curve here. In a second, I will flip it around because this is a pretty complex curve, and I'm using a flat piece of leather to make a complex curve. And I want you to see I guess for lack of a better term, rather, because words mean things, the issues I'm dealing with. Doesn't really show much, but this gusset is and I'm trying to sew a straight line into a piece of leather that's acting like a grilled cheese. But like a grilled cheese made of Wonder Bread, not made of good sourdough or rye, where it's got some body to it. But it's also Wonder Bread that you flip too soon, so it's all like, meh. I swear it makes sense to me. And I'm looking at my stream, and it's really funny because it's on a 15-second delay. So I look up and I see what I did 15 seconds ago. So all of those hand motions, yeah, though I saw those, and it's like, wow, you are a spastic ass. copyright struck. I actually think I might get mollywopped for that one. 3 Days Grace is pretty protected, if I remember right. Because in a previous episode, yeah, let's call them episodes. Why not? Seems right. Seems fair enough. In a previous episode, I tried to share my music with anybody listening, and I got mollywopped hard. My entire... And so, I don't know if you know this, but Twitch will mute sections of a video. Just completely mute the audio. I had a previous video that was entirely muted. Good song. Gonna let you shine. Surely not the best. So, I just thought of this. Chat asked me, why did I terminate the stitch where I did? Simple and long answer. All in one. Shape's kind of a pain in the dick, and I didn't want to do it, so I put it off as long as I could. Was it right? No. Should I have done it? Probably not. Did I do it anyway? Yeah. These are the pre-punched holes that I made with my pricking irons. I'm just trying to get from the curve here to the straight. Then I'll terminate, start more thread, because I was a putz. Study up on your Yiddish to actually understand that. But I was a putz. And didn't go far enough. Just take the hard thing and do as long as you need to get it over with. Another if you know, you know. I'm really genuinely not fit for public consumption. The one really good thing about the saddle stitch versus the double running that I generally do is you can kind of tell when you're running out of thread. Where the double running stitch, you kind of gotta guess and hope for the best, I guess. Son of a... That's philosophy. Watch with moonlit eyes. And I hope you recognize I'm on the front line. Don't worry, I'll be fine. The story. Again, copyright struck. I'm at the end of where I want to stitch to, so let's terminate. Can you guess what happens? And this is why I give extra thread. Because when I first measured, I'd have ended like right there. I don't know about you. That seems like kind of a pain in the ass. So I kept going. Get a nice straight line. Send it. I'm on the front line, don't worry, I'll be fine. My story is just beginning. Goodbye to my weakness, so long to regret. Copyright struck. Surprise! Surprise, motherfucker. It is dumb hot in here. Check this, no. Or a hair. classy bitch. Surprise! Evening out my threads. This one is actually kind of a complex curve. So I'm going to end up having to readjust I'll repunch some holes. Ah, gravity. Gravity. It's the issue with precariously perching items. Gravity. Stop it. Hey. Forgot to put that there. Just marking my line. I do first time last hole, but my last hole here has thread, so I'm going to mark myself and go one further. Whack. Check it. No, not quite. Got a little harder piece of the board. Because yes, it's a poly board, but you can see I've done a lot of smacking in the middle. As you get out to the outsides, it's harder. Clean through. Six time. Okay. I didn't know it was a 6 time. Give you the flippy floppy side. The harder you pull, unfortunately, the more the thread sinks down into the leather. It's, as you tack hammer it up here, it spreads out less. So there are a couple methods you can do to prevent variations. I kind of did the cheater's way, where I hammered through both sides. You could measure with your wing divider here. Go around the outside of both of them, because this is the other side. You can go around the outside of both of them, and you could actually do a, not that either, a stitching groove, which this is a little cutter head. It creates a scrap leather on a set distance. it actually creates a small groove in leather. It cuts away a piece. And you could, based on your wing divider width, you could groove into the leather to create a channel to create a cleaner stitch line. But unfortunately, working with this thin of material, it's trying to create a stitch groove is a little rough because you're taking away material. It's called reductive creation. Reducing material. I don't like reductive creation. A lot of people if you're watching this, you likely also get other leather crafters. And they do a really small, the closest thing you could compare it to is a hole punch. I don't like doing that because it's taking away leather. Where my pricking irons, they're literally just sharp pointy bits. They cut a hole in the leather and to me it makes more sense. There's arguments both ways. But it's the way I do it. Like it says. Is it the right way? I don't know. A lot of people who are a lot better at this than I am do reductive creation. Where they're constantly taking material away. I don't like it. I grew up poor, so I want to keep as much material there as possible. Just based on cost, you're getting the best deal possible. I'm almost lost upon the end. I'm the ember that'll burn you down. I'm the water that'll drown you. Copyright struck. So I'm learning my order of operations using a purple thread because I'm used to using black where I can put leather dye over top of it. Dye, punch, then sew. Dye, punch, dye, then sew. Not dye, punch, and sew. I'll probably here shortly call it for the night, because I know it's not it's a school night. quite literally for some people. I want to get through this sewing so that way next week when we do this, we're on to something new. I won't say exciting. I'll just say new. Because let's be honest, ain't much exciting about this. I'm just trying to make a new category for Twitch streaming. Mostly just chatting, but also doing something mildly productive. That away, don't need that, I'm not using that. Tack hammer. Riveting. Purely a relief cut. Swagging that last little. Swag. Scientific, wild ass guess. Copyright strike. Yeah. Seems like my allergies are starting up again. Sure. Trying to get through this. Next week we'll end up doing the other half of the gusset. I might finish up the gusset off camera, so that way it's done and dusted. We can start on something else, because I'm trying to decide if I want to reveal my secret now, or do I want to hold off until it comes time to actually enact my secret? Again, just a little relief cut. Trying to get a flat, straight piece of leather to follow a curve. So I know I'm gonna have to, at this point, take a little bit of chunk out. Just this little corner here. Just nip it off. Pull the back. There's that stupid sharp razor blade point. Just a hair of a groove. Again, it's for a 7-year-old. Riveting content, peoples. If I ever said guys, I mean that in the loosest of terms possible. Might end the gusset there. And hold it out closed. I got an answer for the wavy. I want to try and again, I could And maybe barge cement that. Cut, notch the fuck out of that. Barge cement it. And sew it back. Or I could terminate it there. Dye over those holes. I'm gonna do that. Decision made. Prototyping is a bitch. Wouldn't you know it? I'm sewing. Come to the end of the line. Can you guess what I'm doing? If you get back stitching and tying a knot for 1,000, you'd get 1,000. Forget that I'm on camera sometimes. Don't care about anyone else but me. Anyone. Extra thread. I think we're sitting pretty. Like I said, I don't know if I'll sew this before next week. If I do, you'll see a bag. If I don't, I don't. Then we get to have more riveting content rather. Wow. English. I'm gonna treat you to a little surprise. So if you saw my Facebook post, it showed if this is back over here. If this is the main body of the purse, it showed the mane with tassels here. So instead of using veg tan leather, which I use nearly exclusively, just for my girls, my miniature humans, I got some special leather. And I don't know if you can see this. There's a chrome tan, like a lilac, sparkly, shiny that I think that they will find it to die for. And that's going to be the mane of a unicorn bag with purple stitching. Tell me that's not absolutely awesome. I'll wait. Turn that off. But we have come to the point in the night where we gotta call it. With a little bit of technical trouble, mostly just me being an asshat who doesn't watch his camera battery. We got it whooped. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Well, really, I'm gonna do a little bit more work, but I appreciate anybody who sees this. Thank you. Really, thank you. Until next time, keep doing what you do. You got a place. You got a family. Be safe.